Hello, welcome to my channel. I trust you are doing well. Like I promised, I have come up with a question and a simple way to address them, assuming you are in exam hall. Of course, remember, the aim or goal of every student is to finish successfully, and one of the measures is through examinations and tests. So, assuming you are into the exam hall and you are faced with a question like this, enumerate the coverings and constituents of the spermatic cord. The first thing that you notice here is these questions are two questions. One, the coverings, and two, the constituents. Of course, they are of the spermatic cord. What you do not know is this. Maybe the examiner may allocate separate marks for these two, for the coverings and then for the constituents. Let me tell you something. Maybe you may say 5 for coverings and then 5 marks or points for the constituent. Yours is to make sure you enumerate the coverings separately and look at the conjunction and then you enumerate the constituents separately. This will enable you to garner the marks or the points allocated to any of them. Now, let's look at this. So, you start with the coverings. One thing you should know, the coverings of spermatic cord could either be mentioned from inside to outside or from outside to inside. This is very important. Okay, so like in this case, let me start from the inside or inward to the outward side. Okay, the internal spermatic fascia is one. That is from the inside to the outside. The next is the cremasteric fascia and the external spermatic fascia. You have garnered your point. No long stories. You have garnered your point. Next, let's go to the constituents. These constituents, you could mention them anyhow, but I'll show you a secret. The first, in any constituent of a structure, there is what is called principal constituent. In this case, is the first difference. You can then mention any other structures coming with it. And look at the next, is a pampiniform plexus of veins. You have testicular artery. You have the cremasteric artery. You have the lymphatic to testis, artery to vas deferens, genital branch of genitofemoral nerve, testicular plexus of sympathetic nerve, sympathetic plexus around artery to vas deferens, remnant of processus vaginalis, and areolar tissue. The areolar tissue. Now, see the secret. We have mentioned them now, but let me show you another secret that can always guide you. Go back to the constituents. They are numerous, about 10 or 11. Now, like I mentioned, the principal constituent is the vas deferens. Now, know that this vas deferens will have to be supplied by an artery. Recall that it has to be drained by a vein. Know that it has to be innervated by a nerve. So, these are bundles of structures that are likely to go along with it. Vas deferens as the principal structure. Now I have enclosed the vessels and the nerves separately. Now look at this. The next one is the pampiniform plexus of veins. That means the structures around this territory has to be drained by a set of veins called a pampiniform plexus of veins. 2. Structures around here has to be supplied. Of course, the testis that all this the vas deferens is coming up from will have to be taken care of by an artery. So the artery will descend as far as the testicular artery or to the testis, and it's called the testicular artery, and it has to be drained by the pampiniform plexus of veins. The cremasteric artery. This artery comes around to exit from the testicular artery to go and supply the spermatic fascia, the cremasteric fascia. So the cremasteric artery supplies the cremasteric fascia. It comes because it's a part of or a branch of the testicular artery is inside. Okay, the lymphatic to the testis has to be drained. Okay, so this is part of the vessels of the spermatic cord. Next is artery to the vas deferens itself. Artery to the vas deferens itself. The vas deferens has to be supplied by a vessel carrying oxygenated blood. It has to be drained by the pampiniform plexus of vein. It has to be innervated by another set of vessels or nerves that is coming down. So, you see, 2, 3, 4, and 5, as well as 6 comes to supply, drain. Okay, the structures. And now the next 7 down are actually innervations to structures around. So the first, number 7, the first is the genital branch of the genitofemoral nerve. It comes around to innervate structures around it. And then the testicle is innervated too. So the testicular plexus of sympathetic nerve comes around to innervate the nerves or the structures. Next, the sympathetic plexus around artery to vas deferens. So even the artery that comes to supply the vas deferens are innervated. Okay. Next, see the 3, 7, 8, and 9. These 3 innervations comes around, and now what is left is the remnant of the processus vaginalis. This is assuming it were to be a female. This would have been developed. So because it's not a female, this is being left as remnant. The next one is, of course, a structure like this, there should be fat. So areolar tissue automatically becomes the constituent. So you simply or calculatively split the structures into the principal structure, which is the vas deferens. Okay, the vessels around, which involve the pampiniform plexus of vein, the testicular artery, the cremasteric artery, and then lymphatic to the testis, as well as artery to the vas deferens. Artery to the vas deferens will supply the vas deferens. Testicular artery will go to supply the testicle. Now, the testicle also send a branch to the external wall, the cremasteric artery. And then all of these structures that are going down to supply is being drained by a single bundle of plexus of veins called pampiniform plexus of vein. All these structures are all innervated by a set of nerves. The first is the one that is going to the genital branch or the genitals, and it's called the genital branch of the genitofemoral nerve. The next is of the testicle, the testicular plexus of sympathetic nerve. The next is the one that actually takes care of the artery that comes around to supply the vas deferens, and it's called the sympathetic plexus around the artery to vas deferens. And then during development, the remnant of the processus vaginalis, and then the areolar tissue, the connective tissue around the structure. You see? So, if you address your question this way, you would have garnered 70%, at least. And then you put through a common diagram, a common diagrammatic representation. You would have gone far. This will help you in your MBA exams, in your semester exams, final year exams, your nursing exams, anywhere. This will sure give you 70%, no matter how. So all you need to do is to embrace this and keep it close to your heart. It will help you. Please subscribe, comment, share, and like the video. Subscribe so that we can meet the target given by YouTube. Thank you. See you in the next topic or presentation or video. Thank you very much.